Hello YouTubers. It's been a little while since I've done my last video. Welcome to my video here. Today I'm going to give you my opinion / review of a very hyped headphone, the Focal Clear MG. So I got my hands on a pair of these, like refurbished. That's how I roll. I think paying it's quite a lot of money new, so I managed to find a refurbished one, and of course it looks brand new. Someone must have returned this or something. So I was really keen on trying these because there's a lot of talk about Focal in general, but the Clear MG in particular as like the second best Focal after the Utopia, which is horrendously expensive. So I went ahead and got this. My idea is I got the Sennheiser IE600s, which I use a lot and I love them. I've got the ICO 087s. Right. I lost them. Oh, there they are. The ICO 087s. And these are both IEMs, right? So I like IEMs. I've always liked IEMs. I think IEMs offer a couple of advantages, in terms of the sound, just because of the nature of how they go into your ears. So you eliminate a lot of the acoustic uncertainties related to kind of like your ear shape and all this kind of stuff, because it goes right into your ear. So IEMs are really my favorites. But one thing where IEMs don't really, that they're a little bit inferior to over-ear headphones for me, is that they're a little bit of have to put on and take out. So if you get up, you have to do it, and then you have to put them on, and if they've got the wire and so on, so. And also the sound stage tends to be a little bit more on the narrow side. And of course you got that insulation factor, which is really good. But sometimes you don't want to have that insulation factor. And that's where the over-ear kind of like headphone comes in, because you can put it on pretty quickly, and then if something happens, you go make some tea, whatever, take it out, whatever, like much easier. And of course for phone calls as well, it's a lot better because you can hear your environment. So whilst you're having a meeting or whatever, I find over ears a little bit better for that. So, but I'm spoiled because, having the Sennheiser IE600 and the ICO 087s, I am really spoiled for a good quality sound. I've tried and I'm still trying and I love it. I'm going to bring this Sennheiser HD660S2. I love these, but they don't really match the IE600s in terms of punch and definition and dynamics and all the rest that makes music so sweet, although they are quite amazing. So in my mind I was like, okay, if I go with the Focals and everyone talks so good about the Focals, then I'll have like an IEM experience in terms of dynamics and music and punch, but with an over ear open headphone. So there you go. I went and got these because I wanted, basically an IEM in my mind, an IEM sound quality with an over-ear headphone, and yeah, to a large extent, these sound amazing. There is a couple of issues though that I want to talk to you, but before I get into that, I want to talk to you about the construction here. So everyone kind of like says, oh, they're beautiful and stuff, and they are. I'm not quite sure, like the coffee color here, the brown color is really my preference. And I do like the honeycomb kind of situation here, the machining and all this kind of stuff. They are rather heavy, and they aren't the most comfortable pair of headphones, so all of this is plastic. Sorry, just go back to the build for a moment. All of this is plastic. This grill here is very thin metal. You can actually see through quite easily. The driver is absolutely beautiful inside. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if I can show you that. The driver, see, there's a housing there with a honeycomb, whatever. You know, the pads are really nice. These are made of metal, aluminium, one piece, and they go into here. There is some rocking movement here, so on both sides, of course, so you can adjust to your ears. And there's like a spring mechanism here, so if you let this go, the cups will go back. So when you put it on, it kind of like has a spring, so it puts some force at the bottom here. The headband is okay. I mean, people talk about this extremely nice build quality. I think they're okay, they're nice. I would argue that my old Momentum 3s, and I don't know, I would argue that these feel better quality than these because they got like the leather and so on and so forth, you know, the stainless steel. You know, I think these Momentum 3s, in terms of just feel when you touch them, feel better than these. I saw online, you know, like because they're very expensive, that these break here, and I think if you check the videos online, there's a metal band here, but then the way that it attaches to this is via like a plastic frame, and I think that breaks a lot, apparently, and the replacements are like almost as expensive as new headphones, so it's something to bear in mind. You know, like with the HD 660S2, I mean, there's nothing that's gonna break here. You know, like there's a metal band that goes all the way around. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a metal band at the top here, but even if there, it doesn't look like it's gonna break or anything. And this chassis has been around for like so long. I've never heard any complaints, but complaints about the focals, yes. And one of they're quite heavy, so these cups are quite heavy. So when they're lying flat on the table, you pick them up by one side, and you can definitely feel like the torsion forces here. Yeah, so this is like hanging, and you pick it up, and you can definitely feel some forces going on here. And I wonder if over time that's causing, you know, that plastic subframe to crack. So if it gets me thinking that I should have like a headphone stand, so when I pick them up from the top, so to minimize any stresses from lying them on the table like that. So just something to bear in mind. I don't know if someone else has Focal headphones, but that's what I'm getting here. In terms of comfort, I think they're okay. They're not great, they're okay. You put them on, they're okay, you know, like they don't feel particularly comfortable around the ears. The headband is not the most comfortable thing ever, you know, like the pressures around the ears is like a little bit kind of off. But I think they're okay, you know. I can wear these for a long time with no issues, you know. They're okay, you know, but they're not fantastic, you know. Like in terms of comfort, I would say the Sennheiser 660S2s are a little bit more comfortable, right? You put them on, it just feels more balanced when you put them on. So yeah, accessories. This comes with the two cables. So it comes with an XLR cable, and that's the one I've been using with the balanced, which is you know, like this kind of stuff. So fortunately, I'm lucky enough to have an amp that takes this stuff. So I've been using that. The cable is really crap. It's like really bouncy and rubbery. It's just not very nice cable, you know. Like it's not a very nice cable, you know. When you fold it in like this, because you say you want to put it in the case, it's just, yeah, for 1,500 euros or whatever this costs, like new, it's yeah, it's a little bit surreal that it comes with a cable like that. And then it comes with a cable just like this one, but with a 3.5 or millimeters with an adapter to 6.5 or 6.3. Yeah, in comparison, like the cable for the Sennheiser 660S2 is, you know, a little bit thinner than the Focal, but at the same time it doesn't have as much bounce, and it just feels a little bit better, although it's nothing special. But it's it definitely feels a little bit better, more malleable than the focal cable. So that's a little bit of a thing. In terms of the casing, well, oh, that's the other cable here. So that's the other cable. So one is long, can't remember, it's real long, you know, it can go around the desk onto the amp. And the other one is a little bit shorter, and it comes with an adapter here that you screw on. So that's how it goes. And those for the case aficionados out there, you know, because a lot of people on forums and stuff, they absolutely destroy headphones that come without cases. Well, you'll be more than happy with this because, you know, like, this is a really nice case. Particularly like the handle here is quite a nifty design. And the case gets your headphones in there, plus the cables and all this kind of stuff. So for the case aficionados, Focal's got you covered. Yeah, so now to the sound. So really high expectations. Of course, you know, you're not gonna spend this sort of money if you don't have high expectations. I'm finding that I'm kind of getting diminishing returns with a lot of the gear that I'm trying at the moment, because we've gone past the point that everything's nice. So the sound on here is really good. My immediate impression when I first put them on, and when I've been listening to them for like many hours, I can listen to these for hours. The sound is not too fatiguing. It's not fatiguing, and it's so punchy. You know, like what I get from this is like punchy. Like the bass is really punchy. You know, all the instruments are well separated. There's some dynamics to the music that is really delicious. I really like listening to music on this. It works better for some tracks than other tracks, but you know, by and large, it works really well. I think this is a very well-rounded headphone, and it works really well with a lot of different genres: jazz, rock, EDM, whatever. You know, like, you name it, this will do it. The dynamics is the best thing here. You know, like the way that Focal does these drivers here, they're literally like a mini speaker. So where Sennheiser and some other manufacturers have like a silicon kind of a dome diaphragm, the Focal, if you look at these inside, they look just like normal speakers, you know, like just a diaphragm, but they're made of metal. And these in particular are made of magnesium. I think the old clears were a mixture of magnesium and aluminium, but these are made of magnesium, and you can look at the properties of these materials and stuff, and I think they changed those properties. Like the Utopia is made of beryllium, which is a very expensive, very light and very rigid material, and I think that most of the price that goes onto the Utopia is probably those drivers. Of course, they're also made of carbon fiber and things like that. But these sound really impressive first time you put them on. Punchy, dynamic, you know, like just a pleasure to listen to. So from that perspective, I really love them. So comparing these to the Sennheiser 660 S2s, I think these take the cake when it comes to dynamics and just like visceral kind of like feel of the music, you know, like really nice. I think the vocals are really nice on here. The guitars and the drums is so nice, you know, like I really like how open everything is and how clear everything is. With the Sennheiser, there's one issue with the Focals, which is like kind of like getting me a little bit on the back foot, and that's the treble region. It's just not there for the most part. Let me explain. It is there, but it's not there at the same time. So there are a lot of songs that I did A and B between these two, and I can hear stuff with the Sennheiser 660 S2s that's just not even there with the Focals. And when I do EQ adjustment, yeah, it kind of they start appearing there, but it's almost, there's an effort that these don't really do high frequencies in like that shimmer, that I don't know, I miss the words to describe it, but basically like it's almost like some of those frequencies, you know, that they're not even there, you know, like you can hear them clearly here and they're not even there, you know. And and that's a bit of a shame, you know, like, because I never thought that I would be like a treble guy, but once you miss that treble, and I had a little bit of the same issue with the Denon 7200, I can't remember exactly the age, 7200, you know, like just the one below the 9200, where it feels like the high frequencies are not there, but at the same time they are there, but then not there in terms of like the fine detail is not there, and sometimes you just can't hear bits of it, you know, like like there's songs which go and it's completely silent on here. You can just about hear it in the background sometimes, but on here it's quite present, and you enjoy that because it's part of the rhythm and stuff. So that that is a big issue, right? Another thing is for example the bass. The bass is super kind of like dynamic, and it gets you going. You know, like the bass here is just surreal. It's so good. I mean, is it as good as the E600? I think in terms of slam and stuff, it probably is. But where these fall apart a little bit is in the finer detail of the bass, right? So got a lot of bass and whatever, but you don't really. How can I see it? How can I put it? You miss like some of the nuances of the bass notes. You know, like where here you know someone's playing the bass and you can hear like the little nuances of the bass guitar. You know, like with this, it kind of that goes a little bit away. And when I look at forums and stuff, everybody talks about this being so super defined and super all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, when you put this on, it's just a different sound. Like you go like, wow. You're like, wow. You know, like you can feel all this stuff and everything's going on. But when you start listening more and more and more, and you know, you start comparing it to other headphones, you start realizing that there is something off about the sound here. You know, it's not as resolved and detailed as you'd expect from a headphone of, you know, this price. But I guess it sort of makes up for that shortcoming in terms of how dynamic it is. It's really dynamic. They call it dynamic range, but you know, like really dynamic. And of course, you know, that issue with the treble is a big issue. I mean, if you listen to music for a long time, you're not going to be blasting it, because these work really well at lower volumes. You still feel like the same dynamic presence there. And the trouble with the missing bits of the higher frequencies is not so pronounced if you crank the volume up. So if you put the volume really up, and these go up quite nicely, then you know the issue of the missing higher frequencies is not so noticeable. But then you're listening to music like so loud that you shouldn't really be doing that kind of stuff. You know, it's just crazy. So that leaves me a little bit on the fence about this, because it's a lot of money, and even if it wasn't a lot of money, you know, like I think the Sennheiser 660S2 is much more balanced. It doesn't have the same kind of like dynamic presence and so on, but it's a lot more balanced sound. You know, like there's quite a bit more micro detail. I think they call it the micro dynamics and macro dynamics. So micro dynamics, the S2 is really good. You can hear a lot of little things and do all this kind of stuff. But with the macro dynamics, which is like that sense of slam and that sense of raw kind of a feeling, the vocals take the cake. And I just wish that they had a little bit more on the micro dynamic side of things, because I really like them. But yeah, they're missing. I'm still making my mind up whether you know, this is a big issue or not, because it's easy to forget all that in the middle of enjoying music. And I guess if you, again, you know, with all this gear, if you had this on its own and you didn't have something else to compare it with, you'd probably be okay with that. But I do, and not only I've been comparing it with the Sennheiser 660S2, I've also been comparing it with the LER, which I got really cheap, and I thought, you know, maybe if there's not much difference between these, maybe this is a better value proposition, because everything I said about construction and everything else is identical. These are absolutely identical, just a different color scheme, different little details and stuff, but there's basically the same headphone. Of course, the drivers are different, so they sound a little bit different. But the rest is all the same, the case is the same, everything's the same, but this comes only with one long cable, which is also not a great cable. But anyway, in terms of sound, like the clear MGs are superior. I think there's something off with the sound on the LER. They're very detailed, so they share this kind of the same signature and stuff, but the clears are a lot more open. Like open, what I mean is like the sound is much more clear. So with this, I think the mids are a bit recessed. I do think that the issue that I referenced with the highs is present on both, but it might just be a little bit worse on the clear MGs than it is here. But there's something really off with where I can enjoy the sound here a lot, you know, and it's just like you put them on and you're like, the music is there, it's clear, it's present. With this, it's a little bit further back, like the mids. The bass isn't as good either. Yeah, there's something off about the sound with the LERs. I can't really explain it, but it just doesn't feel too balanced. The MGs sound a lot better. And of course, no. I mean, I've also been trying it against this thing here, which is the Sennheiser HD 820s. I had a lot of expectations. I saw a lot of bullshit about this online, you know, like really bad, don't get it, whatever. And I thought, you know, Sennheiser can't be so bad. But yeah, it's the micro detail, great. Space, great. But in terms of dynamics and engagement, no, this is something off, like similar to the LER. There's just something off with the sound. And when I really tried to find music that would suit these headphones, and yeah, I couldn't, you know. So basically, between all of these, I think, you know, like HD 820, LER, whatever, I think it's between this and that. So the Sennheiser 660S2, really balanced. This is really cool. And don't forget, this is like orders of magnitude cheaper than the Focals. I think this is slow. I've tried so much stuff. I've tried to dethrone these so with so many others, and I just can't do it because they don't do anything wrong. Like everything's so nice. There's a lot of detail. There's a lot of the bass is okay. Yeah. But they don't have the macro dynamics of the Focal for sure. But they offer a more balanced sound, I think. So now I need to make a decision of whether to keep this or not. And I'm on the fence because they're very expensive. Okay, I bought them refurbished, but they're still very expensive. The comfort is I got concerns about this. I'm not sure. There's a lot of stress here, you know. These are heavy, right? And I can't forget that some of the sound is missing. You know, I was listening to some songs yesterday, and I was like just specific parts of the tracks that I was kind of putting on, and going like that. And there was sounds I could not hear with these. They were not there. Basically, they weren't there. You know, like it could be my hearing, but you know, like I could hear it clearly with the S2s. These are kings of detail. I could definitely hear it with this. The LERs had a bit of the same issue, although I think that the clear MGs are a little bit worse on that. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pickle because I do like them, and I think the sound, I never heard anything that sounds like this. Macro dynamics on here is now I found out the expression, so I'm going to use it. Macro dynamics on this are really, really good. I still prefer the IE600s. You know, like the things I'm comparing all of these to my IE600s, and the IE600s is just like they got the slam, they got the bass, they got the detail, they got everything. You know, like literally everything. You know, like The sound is so complete with the IE600s. Everything's just like there. All the frequencies are nice and clear. There's detail and punch and dynamics and everything. And I just wanted an over-ear headphone that could deliver that, and as closest I'm getting to that is with the Sennheiser C60S2s. I'm kind of shying away from dynamic drivers because I tried the Sundaris closed back, and I didn't really have a good feel for it. I thought the sound was a little bit off, maybe, and I did take the wooden cups just to mimic the normal Sundar. I still found the sound was off. Maybe I'm not used to you know, planar sound. Maybe I need to go and try some planar headphones because, you know, I kind of think I'm exhausting all the dynamic headphones, you know, because I want to have the IEMs. I love them, but I also want the convenience of an over-ear open back or closed back, it doesn't matter, headphone. So there's a few out there now. I think the Sennheiser 620S might look promising if yeah, but I was you know, I was really thinking, you know, like 1,500 euros this costs. I felt, look, you know, like if this is not gonna sound good, I mean, if the engineering into this doesn't deliver like optimal sound, then I don't know, you know, like then sound is yeah, I don't know, because someone must have heard this, you know, someone must put this on. Oh yeah, the higher frequencies are missing. Yeah, that's all right, you know, who needs the higher frequencies, you know. And similarly with this, someone must have put this on, you know, like what kind of music are they listening to? It sounds so yeah, I kind of enjoy it. It's like I put this on, I listen to music, the 820, and all of a sudden I'm like, just bored with it, you know, like yeah, not very nice. Not bored with music here though. So yeah. Well, anyway, so this is my review / opinion of the Focal Clear MG. Oh, by the way, I think the color scheme on the Aliar looks a lot better than the brown, but you tell me in the comments which one looks neater. Thank you very much for watching. I know this was a little bit of a longer one. I got all these headphones here, so I'm probably going to make a few videos about them individually and do some comparisons and stuff, try and maximize the opportunity I got to sort of review this and share with you my opinions and experiences with all these headphones, and hopefully help you in you know, making sense of the confusing headphone world. Thank you very much for watching, and I see you around.